If you take Lee Kuan Yew and Singapore as your example, then it means that, like him, you're going to have to be serious about economic freedom. And that's exactly what he did. That's what Singapore did. When Singapore figured that out, they went on to put in the right reforms to make their environment some of the most business-friendly environments in the world, one of the most free markets environment in the world. And you saw the magic of Singapore. Today, Singapore is richer than its ex-colonizer, Great Britain. So when I hear people telling me today, oh, Africa is poor because of colonization, I'm like, please, let's move on from that.
Woo! What's up, everyone? This is Talks with Kenny. Here today, we'll be talking with, we'll be reacting to a conversation between Jordan Peterson. I believe the lady name was Miranda Wade. And they'll be talking about some of the core issues of why Africa struggles with poverty. Let's take a look.
Well, you list here in one of your articles where you make reference to these rating systems, the bottom 10 countries for doing business in the world: Chad, Haiti, Central African Republic, Congo Democratic Republic, South Sudan, Libya, Yemen, Venezuela. There's a lovely example: Eritrea and Somalia. And so there are three exceptions in the African ecosystem. Mauritius, Rwanda, Kenya, South Africa, Botswana, and Zambia. You pointed out in your prospectus, is it prospectus article?
Yeah, prospectus article of Right. Institute.
Right, that Mauritius is a rising star, and Rwanda is in some wise comparable to Georgia. So some of these countries have started to get this right.
Yes.
And so what's the consequence of that? And what does right mean?
So to me, when she explains that these poor majority black countries, I believe most of them are, except Venezuela, but it's still minority run, right? Once a communist country, Venezuela, and you have 9 other countries that's in the same, Haiti being part of it. My parents used to always complain about Haitian presidents being corrupt, only enriching themselves and their families, abusing their power. And then a revolt happens, they get thrown out of office, and then they put a new person in, and it repeats the cycle. It seems like the more government control that they have over their people, the less successful or less effective it is at bringing the standard of quality of life up in these countries, right? It's the proof's in the pudding. Look at the empirical evidence, right? And then these same people want to blame, because we were colonized by the French. I'm going with the Haitian example. We got colonized by the white people, and they want to blame this as the reason why these majority black countries are poor. She's making the case that free market capitalism, right, which a lot of people think is evil. No, capitalism only works if you work. Because at the end of the day, capitalism focuses on the individual. If the individual wants to get rich, he has to provide value enough that people will voluntarily give their money to you, right? Jeff Bezos is a prime example of this. He made Amazon Prime, right? No one's forcing you to pay for Amazon Prime, but you're here contributing to Jeff Bezos' wealth, but at the same time, you want to complain about him. He's bringing value to the world. He bring up a valuable product, services that you guys like, make it very convenient. You can't say he increased the standard of living for us, right? There's cost for that. And when government's out here trying to give incentives for business entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos to continue doing what they do best, provide a service and product for monetary value, you guys want to get mad. Because at the end of the day, humans are incentive based. With communism, you have to go counter to human nature, right? I have to work for the benefit of other people, but I get no direct benefit from it. What's the point of, in a communist system, what's the point of being a doctor if I'm getting paid the same as a store clerk? Why go for the harder route? For the good of the people? People are not that moralistic. And people who try to virtue signal, act like they're good for people, or they're better than people, or they're more righteous than people, usually they're the main ones that are the most flawed out of all of us. You have good intentions, that's fine if you have good intentions, but what are the results? All you want to focus is, I want to look good, but not do good. And that's the problem we're facing, even here in America, in the States. But let's continue.
What they have understood, what these countries have understood, is that economic freedom is at the center for prosperity building. Rwanda, for example, Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, is explicit about it. He said he wants to be the Lee Kuan Yew he wants to be the Singapore of Africa, and Lee Kuan Yew is his model. Now, the dirty mouths are going to start shouting, oh, yeah, see, authoritarian, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they always want to call you names when you're trying to do something, right? It's like people can't compartmentalize like two things. Think, hey, I don't agree with this regime, but what they did was effective, and I'm gonna take that and use that. But you gotta take it all in one basket, right? No, that's not a smart thing to do. You take out the good and you discard the bad. What's wrong with that? It works. Free market capitalism works, right? And all these people who are pro-socialist, pro-communist, you only can do all that because because capitalism already did the hard work about creating innovation. Or because in the day, whenever time, let's say America became a communist country today, there will be no new innovation past this point. We'll be stuck doing the same thing we always done because there's no incentive for people to innovate. And humans don't work well in that system, no matter how hard or how utopian you try to make it seem. Capitalism is the only thing that's close enough to human nature. Hey, you want to be a greedy human being? Well, you have to use that greed to somehow provide value to other people, make other people give you the money voluntarily for you to satisfy that greed, right? Because you want to call capitalists greedy, or you guys have no heart, you only care about money. Okay, but if I want to get the money, I have to provide value to the community, right? And no matter what, you can't dispute that. Jeff Bezos provided value to the world, and that's why he's a billionaire. There's not one billionaire you can sit here and claim that, oh, this person inherited their money, because most billionaires, even millionaires, the majority of them are self-made. So that throws the narrative out the window that capitalism is bad. No, capitalism works if you work. If you participate, you work. Like, if you don't compete, you lose by default. So when you have this culture in the black community specifically, I'm pointing it out because I'm black. That's what I'm used to. When you have a culture that disincentivizes you to do high probability things, right? In the culture, right? In the black culture, there's this, hey, rapper, athlete, or artists, or in the entertainment business, right? Those are the popular things. This is where everyone strive and try to be on. Oh, I want to rap. I want to play ball. I want to do this, right? These are low probability fields, right? Where on average, a lot of us will fail trying to be ball players. A lot of us will fail trying to be rappers. Look at the Jewish community, what their cultures put in them. Hey, you may not be able to play on the team, but hey, you can be the owner of the team. Okay, I'm going to be a lawyer, doctor, engineer. High probability fields that gives them on average a good income. That'll put them in the top 10% of taxpayers in the country. So the success rate is higher over here with the Jewish community. So on average, they'll be richer than the black community. That's just one example I can give. But I just think a lot of outcomes are due to personal decisions, and you extrapolate that into a broader society. A community making certain decisions will have certain outcomes. And if you make bad decisions, you get bad outcomes. Simple. That's how I see it. Now you may think, oh, you're oversimplifying the problem, Kenny, but that's the core of the problem. That you're making decisions that are not effective for the outcomes you want, but then you want to attribute blame to something else. And that's the problem that Africa is facing. That's the problem what the black community is facing right now. Because you want to blame colonization, something that you have no control over. It happened in the past, something that all humans did, instead of worrying about, okay, what can I do now to not make tomorrow worse than it was today? Focus on small steps, and then eventually, hey, look, we're in a better situation. Like her Singapore example.
Whatever. Me, I want to talk only about on the economic side. If you take Lee Kuan Yew and Singapore as your example, then it means that, like him, you're going to have to be serious about economic freedom. And that's exactly what he did. That's what Singapore did. When Singapore figured that out, they went on to put in the right reforms to make their environment some of the most business-friendly environments in the world, one of the most free markets environment in the world. And you saw the magic of Singapore. Today, Singapore is richer than its ex-colonizer, Great Britain. So when I hear people telling me today, oh, Africa is poor because of colonization, I'm like, please, let's move on from that. Does it have maybe a tiny percentage in?
Yeah, focus our energy on things that has a higher impact. What has a higher impact? Me blaming colonization, legacy of slavery before where my parents, my grandparents, like eventually the degree of separation comes into play. What is it generationally that's being passed down to you from slavery? I think the only thing I can think of is a mindset. That's it. a mindset that you're inferior to white folks. Mindset is, oh, these people have it better off than you. What's the point of trying? That's the real legacy of slavery. If me and you want to agree on legacy of slavery, is a perception. It's a worldview. That's the only thing that gets passed down. And the slave owner's not even passing it down. It's who? Your parents, your great grandparents, or whatever. Right? And that's the advantage I see myself, I have, right? As a immigrant born American, right? I'm a first generation American. I wasn't corrupted with that worldview. I don't believe that I'm inferior because of my skin color, right? And now y'all want to get mad at me, but hey, look, end of the day, if America was a racist country, regardless if I was here 200 years ago or 10 years ago or 30 years ago, I was experiencing racism. But the only reasons why I experienced is on a personal level. Someone called me names. That's it. Someone didn't want to play with me. That's it. Why am I worried about that? And that's the difference, I think, between immigrants and people who are multi-generational Black Americans, right? Is that we come here and we were like, yo, we come here knowing, hey, like, we got to get it. Like, we got to go. Like, our family moved from where they came from to set us up for a better opportunity here. I can't squander it. That's the expectation most first generation Americans know what I'm talking about. So we didn't have time to sit here and worry about, oh, white man can't get off my neck. We're like, yo, if that's the case, we're fighting for ours. Like, we can't let our parents down. And that's the kind of mindset and approach that most first generation born Americans have. And this is why the immigrants are more patriotic to the country than people who've been here for centuries, been here for generations. That's not going to happen with my son. Me and his mom are first generation Americans, and we love America. We're like, hey, we love this country. We love the opportunity to give us. If it wasn't for America, I wouldn't be here. My wife wouldn't be here, and our son wouldn't be here either. Because it's a chain reaction effect. Decisions lead to other decisions, lead to other outcomes. But then you can't extrapolate that to the Black community, to Black culture. But Black culture's thing is, I always want to blame someone else for my downfall. That's it. It's because of the op. It's because of someone else. If you look at the man in the mirror, you're your own opposition. You make trade-offs and decisions that I'm okay partying, drinking all night, and then when you wake up in the morning, you feel like crap and you can't perform properly at your job, and it ends up getting you fired. You're gonna say, "Oh, it's because the white man don't give me any slack." No, you left yourself open to a risk. But I digress. Let's continue.
Where we are today, maybe, and I don't know. But I know it's not the cause. Because if it were, countless countries have been colonized before. And by the way, colonizing one another is humanity's history. It just happened that maybe Africa has been one of the last, colonized region in the world. So in our psyche, it is there, and it acts like nothing happened before to others. But flash news, it's the history of the world. We've been capturing each other back and forth, all of that. So anyway, but the truth is, Singapore, richer than Great Britain today. And then Hong Kong happened. And then because Hong Kong happened, China even today happened. Because China's like, wait a minute, what went on over there? And then China went on to do the exact same thing with its SEZs, the special economic zones, some of the most free market zones in the world. And then look at it happen in communist China, who, when it comes to economics, decided that we're going to do the free market, we're going to be capitalist, because that's the only way. We tried everything else. We killed hundreds of millions of people, and we have nothing to show for it. But now that we're tired of being disrespected members of society.
Imagine that. So even like people who are so pro-socialist, that's the only thing. Communists, we know communism don't work. Now socialists trying, but end of the day, socialism opens you up to become communism because it's all about centralizing power, right? In America, it's natural, the branches of separation. You got the executive office, you got the Congress, and then you got the Supreme Court. Separations of power. We don't want these three things into one united thing, because it opens you up for communism. But that's what the socialists want. We need to bring these things kind of closer together. Nah, because that's the end result. That could be the end result. What's going to stop you saying, oh, we bring these things together? Okay, then now let's make companies managed by the government. No, let's put healthcare under the control of the government, right? It's a slippery slope. It's going to keep going. You give these people an inch, they'll take a mile. But I want to bring this all home to the point that she made about the fact that, hey, China saw something. They say, hey, we've been trying this thing this way all our lives. We kill people over it. It's not working. Let's try this. Oh my God, it works. Now China's the second largest economy in the world now, behind the United States, and all they did was sacrifice China. That's my argument. If let's bring this now, we in a granular level, right? We're talking about countries. If you bring this down to a community level, okay, black community, what can we do different? Maybe not stop teaching our kids to be rappers, athletes, and actors, right? Let's try to get them focused on more high probability options. Like, hey, let's go to STEM, right? More pragmatic. Hey, let's go to school. Hey, take a trade. If you don't want to go to school, here's the trade. Do the trades, make a decent income. You'll be living good, chilling, no debt, nothing. You have all the advantages in the world. Hey, let's be more entrepreneurial. Let's start more businesses other than hair and fashion clothes stuff. Let's do other stuff. Let's do real estate together. Let's start a tech company, right? Let's get some skills, learn how to do certain things, and let's start an agency together, right? And that's one thing I noticed with the black community. We don't like to do business with each other. If you try to start a business plan and be like, yo, like, I need you hop in, I'm investing 10K. Oh, I don't want to invest 10K. But then they can find money for the newest Jordans, the newest phones, the newest car. They got a Hellcat. They saved 33K cash, bought their Hellcat cash. I'm like, yo, with that 33 grand, we could have came to business together and started our company. And in 10 years from now, we would have been millionaires. But nah, you can't delay gratification. I think that's the leading cause of the economic problems that the black community faces as a whole, is because of the ability of delayed gratification. We can't delay gratification. We want the money fast and we want the money now. And I think this is why in the black community, we focus so, like, we give so much attention to these rappers and athletes because they get the money young. At 19 years old, this dude's a millionaire. A rapper as young as 16 will be a millionaire. Right. And that's what we gravitate to because we want it fast. And then now some people may claim that it's due to the fact that a lot of the black communities in poor communities, and that's harder to have delayed gratification coming from those backgrounds. And I understand that. But I don't think it's a race thing. I'm trying to make it, hey, what can the community do as a whole to make its situation better and not worse? Right. That's my whole focus. I don't care about any external factors you're trying to contribute their failures to, because in my view, if we worry about what we can control and what we can fix and put ourselves in a better position, just like these countries did, we'll have our respect. We'll be in a better, and we may not even worry about racism, because that's where I'm at right now. Because I was in a lower, I came from a single mom. I'm in a position where I'm a homeowner now. As a millennial, I am an exception to the rule, right? At 26 years old. Because I was like, let me focus on gaining a high income skill. I got my high income skill. Now I'm making bank. I'm a homeowner now. In my mind, I'm thinking, hey, I'm not special. If I can get black people to think like this too, our community will gain more power, respect as a whole. And that's why I'm here. That's what I'm trying to do. Now, I think one policy or one party helps facilitate my worldview more than the other. Democrats, high regulation. Obviously, we see it doesn't work because too much red tape. It slows down economic prosperity. They keep you artificially low. Welfare, for instance, you make too much money, they take it away, and you don't make enough money to sustain yourself without the welfare yet. So what? They incentivize you to stay. Let me not get a raise. Let me tell my employer to take that $2 raise so I don't lose my welfare. You're incentivizing a different outcome. And I'm saying, hey, the Republican Party, the short-term trade-off you have to make is you lose it like that, but the pressure's on you to succeed and perform. But that gives you more control over your life. And that's what you want. You want independence, right? That's the way to go. The Republican platform, that's the way to go. That's why I'm just telling you how I see it. Let's continue.
Because guess what? That's the other thing too. You want to be respected in this world? You're going to have to be among the prosperous ones for other reasons. Would it be nice, G, that we respect people just because? Absolutely. But that's really not the world we live in. So when China got tired of being disrespected, they're like, maybe we got to build also some prosperity here because then they're going to hear us. And today, China being one of the, being where it is at, even Hollywood, who tries to tell the world how to think, is being told by China what movies to make and how to tweak stories and history in order to be palatable for them. You see the power that comes with being prosperous.
You recommend concretely to countries like Senegal to get the hell out of the way, let's say, of the people who would, like you, would do everything they could to try to make it better? I mean, one of the things that happened with India is India established the Indian Institute of Technology, which is a deadly engineering school. And a huge number of its graduates went to Silicon Valley, as you well know.
Yep.
And many of the successful Indian graduates of IIT started to dump money back into India and build a capitalist infrastructure there, or help build a capitalist infrastructure there. So this sort of thing can really take hold. If you were making recommendations to governments who wanted to get on board and stop being like Chad, Haiti, Central African Republic, Congo, South Sudan, Libya, Yemen, and Venezuela, etc., what concrete steps should they take from the bottom up to get the hell out of the way?
Exactly.
Bottom up, right? No government, because any kind of interaction that government policy does is always top down, right? So my argument here is that you saw the example we gave with the the Indians. I work with a lot of Indians. They're some smart people. They come from that school. They go back and they invest. They send money back to the homeland. Hey, let me help India out, right? That's all voluntary. Individuals made that decision. And what happened when a collective of individuals came together? Look at India. India is now starting to rise up because they're starting to be seen as like a startup country, like Africa. Like I think it was Congo. Their monetary system is not like they're like valuable there, so they have to learn how to get cross-border payments systems routed from international into the Africa, and Africa don't have that current infrastructure. So startup companies saw a lane. I knew these African brothers, they dropped out of college. They're trying to be like Bill Gates and them in Africa. Innovation, individuals. But that's why I'm saying the government can only incentivize or disincentivize behavior. That's all they can do. When you try to do top down level, you guys got to do this. We're regulating heavily. You don't incentivize good behavior. You need to incentivize dependence or independence. That's just my view. Because everything that led to these countries prospering is because the individuals made choices and in turn gained capital, or like she said, power and respect, and was able to send money back into their country to be movers and shakers in their country and bring up the prosperity of that nation. It just works, bro. Like, and to attribute your failures and success to some legacy just because of some wrongdoing that happened in the past, because every nation has skeletons in their closet, right? What happened with the Woman King movie? People bring up the dirty laundry in the tribe. Like every group of people has been involved in some atrocities in life, in history, because it's a human thing, human to dominate another, free will, right? I want to exert my will on another. That's been the history of mankind forever, since ever, and it continues to be so even today. You got the authoritarian leftists. They want your boy to be identified as a girl, and they want you to do certain procedures, and if you don't go along with it, they'll call you a bigot. They'll say, oh, you want a dead son instead of a living daughter. They'll emotionally blackmail you. Come on, it's human nature. Let's keep it at 100 here. But let me guys know what you think of this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'd really be interested in hearing what you guys, your thoughts on this. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.